Hello?
Hello? Hello? What is this place? Okay, this is a little creepy. Well, there's nobody here, but there's all these buildings in this whole town with nobody in it. Everything's closed. Look at this. There's this huge... Alright, so there's been a change of plans, which, since this is a photography vlog, when hasn't there been a change of plans throughout my vlogs? The weather forecast on all of my apps said that today was going to be an overcast day with tons of clouds, really windy, and so I was going to shoot water, a big creek with a bunch of rapids and waterfalls, and it was going to be a perfect day because whenever you shoot water, you want it to be cloudy and overcast typically, because then you get even lighting on the water. Your exposure doesn't change drastically, because when you have water which have these white foamy bits that reflect off the sun, it fools your camera meter, and so it's hard to find the perfect exposure when you're doing something like a 30-second exposure with a 9-stop ND filter in the middle of the day. So the reason why the plans have changed is because, as you can see, probably the sun hitting my face, it's a beautiful day outside. And photographers don't like beautiful days because that means it's blue skies with no clouds in the sky and harsh lighting. That's what most people call a beautiful day. Photographers hate that. A beautiful day to me is like these insanely ominous looking clouds with tons of texture and like halfway near tornado warnings. So that's kind of like my ideal shooting conditions. So because it's so bright and sunny and there's no clouds anywhere, I'm not going to waste my time driving over an hour to shoot water because I just know it's not going to turn out well. There's going to be all this dappled light all over the water because I've been to that location before, and it's covered in trees, and so because the trees are going to be there, it's going to create these big shadows and all this dappled light. And I don't really like dappled light on water. I like it in some occasions, but not on water, especially with long exposure. So I am headed into the rural country here. I don't know how far I'm going to drive. I don't know where I'm going to end up. And sometimes those are the best situations when I don't really know what today is going to behold for me. But I'm just going to keep driving. And if I see a road that looks cool, I'm going to turn on it. And if I see a location that looks cool, I'm going to go to it. And I'm just going to base today's expedition doing that. I'm just going to wing it. And sometimes winging it is not a bad thing. You find cool new locations. So I'm still going to be using the Fuji camera. I took my Fuji X-t2. I ended up putting the battery grip on it last night when I was making that video. And I'm typically not a battery grip person. As you can probably tell by all my Nikon cameras, none of them have battery grips on them. But it's really nice on the Fuji. It adds a really good even weight to it. And the reason why I kept it on there is because I have the Fuji 16-55 mounted on the camera, and it's pretty heavy for just the Fuji camera. It almost makes it feel like I'm gonna snap the lens mount off. I know I probably won't, but it feels very front heavy, like I'm gonna do that. So with the battery grip on there, it just makes it feel much more evenly weighted. So I like that. Anyway, so packed my Fuji stuff, and I'm just gonna drive around in the rural backcountry of Georgia here and see what I can find. So I'll turn the camera back on if I find anything interesting. Alright, so there's a big chained off area here that said closed, do not enter. Naturally, I climbed over the chain, and we're gonna go check out this place called Indigo Falls. Wow, that's so cool. It's like a Swedish village down here. Look at the architecture of this place. Look at this building off in the distance down here. It's like a Swedish cabin, or a Norwegian cabin. There's a huge lake over there. And there's nobody here, which is exciting and concerning at the same time, because I don't really know where I am. Sorry for the wind noise. There's probably gonna be a lot of it. Where am I? And there's all these like, okay, this is a little creepy. There's nobody here, but there's all these buildings in this whole town with nobody in it. Everything's closed. Look at this. There's this huge like Norwegian cabin type thing. There's this whole forest, a lake. They have like statues, like fake deer. It's almost like there's this like, look at this. This little like barrel filled with, I seriously feel like I just stepped into like The Hobbit. Just a little creeped out though. There's nobody here, and there's a mill, there's running water everywhere, there's a big like thing here, a bungalow over there, a big lodge over there, a lake over there. Up there there's a chapel, I guess, where people can get married. This is really cool. I kind of want to live here because there's nobody around. I don't know, I'm a little overwhelmed. I don't know where I'm going to start with photos, but I guess I'm going to start shooting something. I don't know, this is just wild. They still got their Christmas decorations up. Alright, finally found a little bit of a shot. The light is really bad today, so I'm shooting this empty lodge thing over there, if you want to show them the lodge. So I don't know what this thing is. It's really cool. I don't know. I wanted to photograph it. The reason why I wanted to photograph it is because of the doors. It's got really like rustic looking old doors. So I was going to use a tripod, but I'm not even going to worry with it because I'm getting a good enough shutter speed right now. So I got the Fuji X-t2 battery grip, 16 to 55 2.8 lens on here. Shooting at f8, it's giving me 300th of a second at ISO 200. So yeah, it's wide enough. Shooting at 16 mil, so it's wide enough to get just the front of this this lodge in the composition here. And it's not some amazing scene-stealing shot, but this is such a cool place that I want to document, you know, a little bit of my visit here, and it's cool enough. You know, every shot you take doesn't have to be a scene stealer 5-star shot as long as it's cool. So I like the composition. It's simple. The sun is hitting it directly, which kind of works because it makes the colors pop a little bit because they're very rusticy browns and faded color. So I'm going to get the video rolling on here for a second so I can show you what I'm doing here. So let me get the video rolling so I can more or less show you my composition. All right, so let me back up a little bit. I'm shooting at 16 mil, but we're in 1080 aspect ratio. So more or less my composition is I'm focusing on the door here. And I might even zoom in and do a composition kind of like that, which would be kind of nice. Just, you know, kind of a warm, Christmassy feeling, but I'll probably just keep it zoomed out. And I focus on the door and then recompose and shoot up. Simple stuff works. So when you see something that looks cool, you might as well shoot it, because in the age of digital photography, it doesn't cost you to take photos. You're not shooting film. So shoot the stuff that works, and you know, I'm gonna have fun post-processing this photo because I had so much fun wandering around this crazy place, and this will be just a little memory of that for me. So even if it doesn't sell or you know, whatever, it'll be a good story for the blog. So keep in mind that every photo you shoot doesn't have to be for monetary gain. I like sharing this stuff with you guys, so having this as a story on the blog and attaching a photo with it is a cool thing. It's perfectly fine with me. So I'll turn the camera back on if anything else cool happens, and I'm gonna go take some more photos. is just so much fun to shoot with. It's kind of brought the fun back into photography for me. So I'm just going handheld as long as I got 300, 400th of a second, and I'm just going shoot crazy here. I'm finding some great stuff. So I'm gonna keep taking these detail shots up close of this cabin here, and I'm just gonna keep having fun and see what else I can find. So I probably didn't think this through very well when I walked by that closed do not enter sign, that the entire trail to get down to this town that's abandoned is downhill. And so now that we're heading back to the car, this like 1,000-mile long road, which we walked downhill to get to, is now uphill on the way back. So getting in some good exercise for the day. I'm happy about that, but I probably didn't think that through very well. Alright, so we pulled off the side of the road again, and now we're at this river or creek. Don't really know what it is or where I am, but I found a cool composition with the running water, and I'm using a 9-stop ND filter. It's a 77mm filter thread, which is what works on most of my Nikon lenses. What's cool about that, which I didn't know until last night, is that my Fuji camera down here, the 16-55 f2.8, is also a 77mm filter thread. So I can use my 9-stop filter today without having to buy an adapter. So that's pretty cool, because the 16-55 is probably what's going to be on my camera most of the time until I figure out what wide angle lens that I want. So I'm going to put this 9-stop filter on here. Right now my camera's giving me about a 200th of a second, and I want this to give me 9 stops less light. So that way I can get some nice long exposure shutter speed. So I'm going to set that up and try my first ever long exposure with the Fuji camera, and I'm very interested to see how it's going to render the image quality and how it's going to render the water, and you know, how it's going to perform. Just, you know, sometimes the mirrorless cameras that I've used in the past have rendered a lot of noise and hot pixels when you do long exposure, so I'm really excited to see how this one handles it. So I'm going to screw this on and take a couple of shots. Alright, so I've actually picked a little very simple composition here, just mainly to test the long exposure capability of the Fuji, and I got it all set up on the tripod. Little composition rolling away here. I got it on f11, ISO 200, shutter speed on auto for right now, and I'm overexposing with the exposure compensation. So I'm just going to go ahead and take another shot here. Let that hang down, and that's going to give me, I think it's at I can't remember, 6 or 7 seconds. So I don't know, it's been a fun day. It's been a very interesting day. Gotten some interesting locations. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off now, because I'm probably done shooting after this, and I can't wait to get back to the office and see how the Fuji RAW files look. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.